Warami Mitiga, Budgerina Wunya, Yugunai Awabakal Ngurrawa. Hello friend, good to see you. Today I'm on Awabakal country. And today I want to talk to you guys about something that I sort of honestly didn't want to, but it's a hot topic at the moment and I feel it's something that I need to address, and it's something that I've had a lot of people popping into me DMs and asking me about, and that's the voice. So I hate politics, guys. I really don't like getting into political shit. That ruined me with the old carp fishing club. But this is something I feel that I need to quickly touch on, and I'm going to try and make this quick. Okay. To put it quick, simple. If you want to know where I stand, I'm voting no. It's that simple. If you want to know why, carry on in the video and listen on for a little bit more. The reasons I'm voting no, and there's a few of them. One is land rights. Now, there's a big debate in a number of Aboriginal communities, and this is not just stemming from my own, but it's stemming from a few that I know of, over land rights. And there's a page that you can see here called The Long Con Gone On Too Long. Yeah, it's a mouthful. And it's about the green guy and how apparently they've just found a bit of paperwork in a cupboard and gone, oh, well, they're related to us, we're going to say we're Aboriginal with no definitive evidence. My family have proven, without a doubt, our lineage and our bloodline. We have gone through the local land council, our Dharug land council, and we've gone through the meetings and proven our line and all that sort of stuff. So we are recognised as Aboriginal. We are recognised Dharug Aboriginal. This Gringai mob apparently have gone through none of that. So that's what the long con gone on too long is about, and that's one of my concerns with the voice, is that it's going to give people like this that do not have that proper lineage, that do not have the evidence, that it's going to give them too much power to claim land that's not traditionally theirs. We also have the issue with, I think it's the Metropolitan Land Council in Sydney, claiming Eora Nation. We hear it all the time on the footy or bloody whatever, Australia Day and all that. Welcome to Eora Nation. Eora, and I've said this before, is the Dharug word for people. It is not a nation, it is not its own mob, it is our word for people. So what they're saying is welcome to People Nation. It's Dharug Nation, not People Nation. So that's a big part of why I'm voting no, is because I believe that it's going to give these fake mobs too much power. Just because they've got a bit of extra money over what some of the smaller ones do, I think it's going to give them too much power, and that they're going to get into basically ripping the true blood Aboriginals or true Aboriginals off. So that's one part of it. Another big part, and I'm sorry if there's a lot of wind noise, guys, I've got the camera facing away from the wind, so I'm hoping it's not. But another part of the debate here is over how much information we've received. Now, we've heard a little bit from Yes campaign, we've heard a fair bit from No campaign. I've had nothing in my letterbox as to date explaining to me what any of this is going to be. What I do know about it is research that I've done and information I've been provided. But nothing's turned up in my letterbox, nothing's turned up from our government to tell me what's going to happen. And I think most of you will feel the same way, is that we haven't been told. We've been kept in the dark about it. And that to me is a massive concern, because if this goes through and nobody in the public knows what's going on, then they can basically do what they want and none of us are going to sit there and question it. And there to me lies another big problem. We won't know if these policies that are coming through and stuff like that are actually correct or part of the original plan, because we're not being told the information. Anthony Albanese sits there and tells us that there's one page to the Uluru Statement, where Jacinta Price will sit there and tell us that there's 16 pages or more. There's a number of people telling us that there's a lot more than just one page to this statement. But again, we're not being told any of this information. So to me, it feels like it's going to be very dodgy. It's going to be largely smoke and mirrors, where it looks like the government's doing something for us, but they're not. I don't believe that they're going to listen in the first place. And as Senator Jacinta Price says all the time, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her Aboriginal name there, but as she says all the time, we need ears, not a voice. We have Aboriginal MPs in Parliament already, but they're not listened to. And that's the bigger problem, is that we need ears, not a voice. We have the voice. The whole part of being recognised in the Constitution as traditional owners, look, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. We should be recognised as the traditional owners of this country in the Constitution. I think that recognition would really mean bugger all, but we should be. There's stories I've heard of people as well carrying on about if you vote yes, you're going to have everything locked up. They'll claim land title on everything or whatever, and they'll lock the gates and you'll never be able to access four-wheel drive tracks or campsites and things like that. Or the other story that I hear, that you'll have to pay rent on property you own because you're technically on Aboriginal land, so they're going to want you to pay rent on it. Look, I think that's all bullshit scaremongering. I really don't believe that would ever be right and that would ever get through. One thing that does concern me, and I've heard this coming from some Aboriginal people, is the whole sovereignty never ceded. And that means that we've never handed over the rights to this country. We never gave up this country and handed it over to the white fella. Therefore, we never handed over sovereignty. And to me, that's a concern, because if the Dharug people, or Aboriginal people in general, turn around and say, well, we want sovereignty so that we can live by our own laws and our own rules and things like that, then that's going to open the floodgates for others, such as Muslims, to try and bring in Sharia law, saying that they want to live by their own rules and their own laws. Aboriginals can do it, why can't we? And that to me is a massive concern. In my opinion, if we want to be treated the same, and this goes for Aboriginals, it goes for every single race out there, be it Australian, Lebanese, Muslim, Chinese, Japanese, friggin' Korean, Italians, Greek, whatever. If you want to be treated the same as everyone else, don't demand to be treated differently. Same deal with the gay lesbian movement and all that. If you want to be treated as an equal in this country, stop demanding to be treated separately or differently, because in my opinion it's never going to happen. If you want to be treated differently, you cannot expect to be treated equally. And I see that a bit with the trans movement. And look, I've got nothing against gay, lesbian, trans or anything like that, but if you don't want to be treated different, or if you want to be treated the same and accepted, treated like everyone else, don't expect to be treated differently. So that's, again, another part, I guess, in why I'm voting no, is because I feel that this is just going to create more of a divide, and it's going to make things worse. It is going to divide our nations. It's going to, and it already has. It's going to just make things a lot worse than what it is already. There's also been the topic of children brought into this, and I've seen some of this, that we don't want another stolen generation, and by all means we don't. But I'm going to say is that if any child, be it Aboriginal, Muslim, Chinese, Japanese, bloody Korean, Italian, friggin' whatever, Australian, whatever, if any child is being abused, neglected, or in danger, then they need to be removed from their family, Aboriginal or not. Now, I've had members in my family removed from their parent, not directly like parents or my parents or siblings or anything, but cousins and further down the line. I've had children in my family removed from their parents because they were in a dangerous situation. I've had members of my family go into jail because of drug problems and crime and whatnot due to drugs. I've had family members in my family born recovering because their parents are drug addicts. Apparently they're all clean and that now, but I've personally had minor alcohol problems where I was drinking way more than I should have been. It wasn't to a point where I'll wake up every morning and I'd be dying for a beer, but it'd be a matter of I'd come home every day and I'd be drinking way too much and then not wanting to go to work the next day because I'm hungover and feeling shit. So I've had minor alcohol problems. I never really had drug problems. I was smart enough to get away from that when I saw other family members getting into shit. But in those situations where there are drug and alcohol problems, where there is violence, where there is neglect, things like that, then a child should be taken away from their parent and put into a safe environment. And the sad part is that leaving children in that environment, I know by all means we all want our kids and we all want to be in that environment, but by leaving children in that environment breeds that environment. And I've seen that again in my family, that where the parents have had drug problems or whatever it might be, the children as they're growing now are getting into those same routines and those same problems. So I do believe that in some cases, children need to be taken away, whether they're Aboriginal or not. So do we want a stolen generation? No. But do we want our children looked after? Yes. Alright guys, anyway, I'm going to cut it. That's me rambling long enough. I hope you see my point in why I'm voting no. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not telling you what to vote. I'm just trying to give you a bit of information as to why I'm voting what I am, and something for you guys to consider before you tick a box. Alright guys, Yama Bujiri Murugu. Walk a good path. Yano, goodbye.